Follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube. Don't forget to like. The prop in One More Chance, the pendant that Alfie was giving to Belle, is also kind of a character in the film itself. So after I wrote the story, I had to go and search for a prop to fit this character. The pendant I bought on Etsy was probably one of the biggest expenses of the film. Then I went to an antique store in Pasadena and I found a jewelry case for the pendant. Now, since the main character, Ryan's main character, Alfie, was going to fight the antagonist for the pendant, I wanted to keep the jewel inside of a jewel case. This way we wouldn't actually damage the necklace when they're fighting for it. So this required me to make a dummy of the jewelry case, a stunt dummy. So what I did was I took some measurements of the actual jewelry case. So I went to Home Depot and got the supplies to make my stunt dummy with the help of my tío. I was able to make a replica here. This is our stunt dummy. This is our stunt man right here. Stunt man Jules, after my tío did his magic. It's funny because I had actually asked him, can I use the saw to make this dummy? I was doing all the measurements and I said, just show me how to operate the saw and I'll make the dummy. And he looked at the paper I had made with all the dimensions and then looked at some of the lumber I had bought and was like, oh, don't worry about it, mijo, I'll do it. And he did it in like 10 minutes. All I had to do was assemble it, get some nails, and put the pieces where they belong. Then there was a process of painting. I had to paint it, get masking tape to match the decal of the original case, and then protect that layer of paint, and then paint over it again until it eventually looked close enough to the actual jewel case that we could use it to drop when we're fighting over it and not worry about damaging the original jewelry case. So that was another thing that I had to take into consideration. That's another thing that took time. That's another budget that had to go into the film, was not just the jewelry and the jewelry case, but also making the dummy for the jewelry case, the stunt dummy. After doing all that, then I had to work on my levitation effect for the necklace for when it would float up in the air and then Ryan or Alfie would grab the necklace. That would definitely, that's one part of the film that I really wish could have been improved upon, because I had worked it out by myself how to get this pendant to float. But when we were on set, I had my cousin Eddie do the lifting of the jewel and it was really jerky. You can kind of see in the film, you could see when the necklace jerks a little bit, but it's because I didn't have him practice before we got there the day of shooting. I kind of, in my head, I was like, okay, I figured this out. But I didn't take into account that whoever was going to have to do that should also have practiced that levitating technique. So the consequence of that was that it was jerky in film, and every take we did, there was no fixing it. I basically used the take that I thought looked the least worst, even though they all looked bad. Anyways, yeah, that's the process that I went through for our prop in One More Chance. For more uneducated expert analysis on film and cinema and the creative field in general, follow us on Twitter at ghettoplex_mp4, on Instagram at ghettoplex.mp4, and subscribe to us on YouTube at ghettoplex.